Okay. I'm legitimately pissed off right now. I don't know about anybody else. Probably everybody else is fine with this. I saw this show and I'm saying, what the hell, man? What is this? We got 4 matches, which was fine. Sometimes you can be short. Unless someone is hurt. Serious, well, not serious, but hurt and needs to leave immediately. That's why they did the match. I'm like, why on this show the way they did it? Let me give it to you like this. Did it like Christian Cage's talk when he was talking about the patriarchy. He didn't break character. He didn't become the good guy. Fine. If they're going to take a long-term storyline with this because that's what Adam wants, that's what Christian Cage wants, fine. He'll go through the patriarchy. Then they will go through FTR. Then it will eventually go through the Bucks or the Hurt Syndicate. And that's what they want to do. I'm fine with that. Seeing that Christian gets his ass handed to him by Nick Wayne, not Kip Sabian, and not Shayna Wayne when she tried to smack him, and I gotta say this clearly, I do not know what happened with Christian, that he was botching his words. This show, you could tell, was not right. Because I'm not saying Christian was always great on the mic. He's not. He has his moments where he's alright. And sometimes he's good. But it's rare to see Christian botch a word and keeps going. He does it maybe once or twice. He did it nearly 5 times in this segment. And yes, there were people in the peanut gallery complaining to him. He says, I'm conducting business. Fine. But 5, what was it 5? It could have been 6. 5 times he botched. That he's trying to remember his lines. It's like he just got him at the last minute or he was drunk, which he doesn't drink. I don't think he does that anymore. No. But it was like he was off. Now, did Nick Wayne do well? He was fine. Did Kip Sabian do fine? Yes. Did Shayna Wayne do all right? Fine. Yeah, they were all doing what they need to do. But Christian looked botchy. And clearly, this story, that if it's still mostly them, and that's Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, they want this to be a long-term thing so they can ease Christian back into being a good guy. That's the way they want it. That's the way I think that's what they want. If they're going there, because you may have Adam get nailed by the matriarchy. I almost said patriarch. I believe it's called the matriarchy at this moment. I can't remember. And he will turn heel with him. And they will both be a heel tag team. Or they're taking the long route to get Christian to turn face. But it was botchy, man. Now, let's move on. Not forgetting the asshole bit. I was an asshole with a conscience. I know. I know I could add that, and I am adding it in. Just get my point. Now, the MJF segment with Shelton Benjamin. That made sense. Shelton made it very clear when it came to well, since Bobby's not there, and MJF knew it, he said, let me talk to you, let's talk to MVP, and let's get this all sorted out because someone was a little bit of a titsy. His tits were up. Let's talk about this. And Shelton said, look, he's disgusted with you. And me? He showed him the watch. He said, you know, this is a nice watch. This is the best watch I've ever seen. Best watch I ever had from Temu. And you can see that MJF said, oh, shit. Yeah, they went there with Temu. And he made it very clear. The only reason we didn't leave you in a pool of your own piss, and that's later he says that, was because of MVP. As far as I'm concerned, you're done. So that means the only person left is going to be MVP himself that is going to turn on him. But will he turn on him in a way that MJF, after proving that him and Mark Briscoe, and I will get to Mark in a minute, because I am fucking pissed about that. Not because it's Mark's fault. I'm just angry. But he's going to be dealing with him next week. But let's move on. Let me give it to you like this. The matches themselves were not the issue here. I want to make this clear. All 4 matches were decently good. Opening match, which was the Bucks versus the... well, let me give it to you like this. Who do I like more? Do I like the Young Bucks or do I like the Outrunners? I like the Outrunners better. Not that I hate the Bucks. I just like their attitude. They're a retro team. They play into it as much as they can. You son of a bitch. It's not bad. It's funny. And it reminds me of days past. But I knew they weren't going to win against the Bucks. The Bucks are on a rise to get back into the world. They're a rise to get back into the title picture. And after they met FTR and got messed with by Hathaway, and still seeing Justin Roberts saying, the Young Bucks, Mac and Nick, they can't stand it. The match was fine, not surprised. But what I'm still not understanding, why are you putting Okada with Swerve Strickland? Why? Why are you putting Okada with Swerve? You just newly minted this unified title, this undisputed title. And now you're putting Swerve against Okada, where Okada's going to have to drop that title to Swerve. But if he doesn't, what are you doing with Swerve, who is super over at this moment? People are very interested in Swerve. They want to see Swerve. So that means, unless he is going to drop it, which could be at Forbidden Door, unless they're going to do it next week or the week after because of rushing stuff, I just don't see them building into the story of this easily. There's no story here. That's just throwing Swerve at Okada. And that's pissing me off. That's not the reason why I'm truly pissed. But that's how it feels. Next match. And that's Athena and Billie Stark versus Storm and Windsor. I forgot her first name, but Windsor. The match wasn't bad. Athena pinned a Toni Storm because of a blind tag that she did on Billie. All right. You could have actually closed the show with that. But why was it here? And that's all I'm going to say until the end. Final match. Ricochet versus... Well, not the final match. It was final match of the night, but not the final match. But it was at the end of the show. Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe. No titles on the line. No position. Nothing. And it was a fine match. Mark won, even though AOG interfered. And then you got Brody as well as the Bandito. They become a tag team now. And they started fighting AOG. And Mark Briscoe won with a Jay Driller. And then he cut a very good promo on MJF. MJF came out after Mark was really fired up, kicked him between the nuts, about to nail him with the ring, and then the Adam Hangman Page came out. Almost knocked his teeth down his throat. And then you see MJF running to the back, and that's the end of it. They close the show with that. Fine. Here's the thing that truly pissed my fucking ass off. This pissed me off. I knew about this, of course. I'm not forgetting about this match between Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. I was not fond of this. Why wasn't it scheduled for Forbidden Door? I don't know. Either maybe Mox needs a break and he just wanted to do this match and get it over with and not wait the Forbidden Door. Maybe he might be hurt. I don't think he is, because he went all out in that match, even though he looked a little off, but not completely. He kind of looked somewhat off. Maybe that's going with the character. I don't think he's hurt, but you never know. We have the match. It was fine. Death Riders tried to interfere. Marina Shafir threw the title in. He got nailed in the head once already, and that was Hangman Page. Didn't work. You know how many dead eyes did Moxley take? I think 4. 4 dead eyes, and what, 3 that was way too many. That was way too many. There was too many buckshot lariats. There was too many dead eyes. I just don't believe it was necessary. Not on a regular show. And worse yet, this is what's pissing me off the most. This is what fucking is enraging me. You, Tony, you decided, instead of waiting for Forbidden Door, to give Moxley and Hangman Page another pay-per-view together. Let them close it. No. You do it here. All right. I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about it. I truly believe this should be at Forbidden Door. That's on the 24th. We are not even in there yet. We're on the 30th right now, about to hit the 31st. Fine. I'm not happy about it. But this is what we got. You make this the second match on the card. Saying that again if you didn't watch. This is the fucking second match of the card. This is not the last match. They had 4 matches. And the one preceding this was the women's tag match. And then the last match, as you know, was Ricochet. And it was Mark Briscoe. And understand, I want to make this very clear. The match itself was fine. It was all right. It did what it needed to do. We saw a Darby Allin jumping off literally a Romeo and Juliet parapet. You see Darby Allin jumping onto security, who is demanded by the ref to eject Death Riders and Marina Shafir, who was not in the pile. And I'm like, you could not make this the last match of the night. You had maybe 2 or 3 weeks before Forbidden Door. You couldn't make this for this. And then next week, you couldn't do the tag match for the women. And then the next week after that, you couldn't do anything with Mark and with Ricochet doing what needs to be done with MJF. You couldn't set this up over a 3-week period. You couldn't. At least make it 2 weeks. Give us content. No. I'm like, what the fuck, man? This was wrong. It's bad enough that you're letting your champion be the second match on the card. Understand, this is what people are not going to always get. Then say, what's wrong with this? This is fine. You can open the show with it. He didn't open the show. If it was WCW and WWE has done this, and even TNA to a certain extent, they've had titles open the show. They had their champions open the show. They even have their greatest champion, the world champion, or the WWE champion, once in a very long while. Very rarely. When Vince was running it, he would normally never let it happen unless it was something that was good for story. He would open the show then. But WCW did it. TNA did it. WWE has done it with the lower tier titles. Fine. The first match. This was the second match. So they weren't important enough to close the show. But they weren't exciting enough to start the show. You let the Bucks start the show with the Outrunners, who I really do like. You let Mark Briscoe close the show, who I love, that I truly believe they should have pushed him at least a year ago or more. For me personally, that's how it feels. He should have been pushed at least a year ago. But you didn't want to do it. Now it looks like you're doing at least something with it with MJF, because as has been reported, MJF specifically asked Mark to work with him. But now you got your world champion that you have waited 9 to 10 months to finally put the damn title around his waist. And he's getting a rematch with a Jon Moxley. Allergies still messing with me. Took my medicine. Don't worry, I took my medicine. If anybody's just asking, I took my allergy medicine, even though my eyes are itching. I took it. But right now, I'm so angry right now. It's making my eyes itch. I'm that angry. Oh my. You're telling me you didn't believe Moxley and Hangman were important to open the show. You didn't think they were important enough to close the show. Then why in the fuck were they on the show? Why were they not on another day? Why not put them on the next Dynamite and close the show with the women? Or close the show with Mark Briscoe and Ricochet and leave them off? Hell, why didn't you just use the most intelligent thing you could have done? Is anybody listening? Leave it alone until Forbidden Door. I don't know what JD's going to think of this. I don't know what Alex is going to think of this. I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, this was stupid. Let's make it very clear. Tony is made up stupid. If you're going to be in the voice of the Emperor, Tony is made up stupid. If he was in my empire, I would make sure that he would be made up stupid. And how was he made up stupid? I would make sure it's written all over him in blood of his own making. Happy? I am legitimately pissed at this. That we wasted a day that could be built for Forbidden Door, that's supposed to be special, that's supposed to include New Japan Pro Wrestling, but you don't. And you're going to say, dude, well, they're setting up MJF, dealing with Mark Briscoe so he can deal with Hangman Page. Well, here's the thing. Why are they rushing it? I can understand they want to do something with Mark Briscoe and MJF. Fine, build up into it, going past Forbidden Door to the next pay-per-view and make it mean something. Let Hangman have time to really build up his reputation now as champion again. Let him have some time. Let him go through other people. Give other people an opportunity to start setting things up. Dude, on Collision, we're going to have Dustin Rhodes go up against Kyle Fletcher in a Chicago street fight. Why couldn't you announce it here and set that up for Forbidden Door? No, you're not doing that. The very first defense for Dustin Rhodes, instead of setting it up to go to Forbidden Door, yes, you can have a couple of matches on Forbidden Door that is from AEW, but no, they're just going to throw it away on a Collision, which, if you haven't noticed, the ratings suck. And instead of trying to build someone into that brand, like they should have with CM Punk, which didn't work, which they could have done with Eddie Kingston, who became the Continental Champion, they didn't. They didn't do with Okada either. Now you got Dustin Rhodes. You could try to build the brand around him, but you're not even trying to make it important. It doesn't even feel important because you haven't made Dustin Rhodes feel important, because let's be honest, the only reason Dustin got that damn title is because Adam Cole had a concussion again. That's the only reason. I still like Dustin, and I like Adam Cole. I'm not against either one of them, but that's the only reason he got that damn title. Not because of all the years of hard work to put this company to a better position. No, they just didn't have anybody else to choose, so they gave it to Dustin. This sucks. I'm angry at this, and I don't like to be angry. I don't like to be angry at AEW or the wrestlers there. And I want to make it very clear. I'm not even angry at the wrestlers. And I'm not saying I was. But I'm angry that they're being booked so badly. Look, booking 101 that TNA has done, that WWE has done, and I'm sure MLW has done. You make your champions feel important. Relevant. You make them feel relevant by putting them in situations that mean something. You just threw your champion as the second match after a tag match that's supposed to be the tournament you have, and you didn't close it with him, and he wasn't important enough to open it. You couldn't even leave him on the next show by himself. No. And unless Moxley is injured, which I don't even know if he is. I don't think he is. But if he's injured, I can understand that. But if he's not injured, and he can still go and he's fine. And when it comes to Hangman Page, he's fine. They just threw it on there because they want to do it. It's shit. But this is my point of view. Leave a comment, subscribe. Oh, just in case you don't know, I'm saying this now just in case you haven't heard. YouTube is about to change their system again. If you haven't already heard, the way they count views now, you cannot just watch the video completely through anymore. As far as YouTube is concerned, they either want you to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, or leave a like, or they don't want to count it. Now, I don't normally ask this, but I'm doing this not just for myself, but for other content creators who are way bigger than me. If you don't know, because you usually watch them because you like them, leave a comment or leave a like on their videos. It's not about just subscribing, because we don't even know if subscriptions will count for the view. Leave a comment, leave a like. Peace.